Denver, Colorado. Saturday, May 18th, 2013. Z-Day +1. President Obama had just finished a speech urging people to stay where they are and shelter in place. The military is working on a plan to retake the country from the dead.
"I am so glad he's our president," a red-haired woman says. "We're going to be rescued."
D-Day looks at her. She's tired, dirty, and based on the reddish-black stains on her clothes and the smell coming from her, she's been helping dispose of the bodies of the undead. Still, after a speech promising the government is coming to the rescue, she's wearing a smile. He doesn't want to blow out that flicker of hope, but feels he needs to set appropriate expectations. "I hope so," he says. "But it's not going to happen right away. Like he said, we have to work together, and we have to help each other." He makes eye contact with the blonde man who has been complaining about D-Day's handling of security and wanting one of D-Day's weapons. "All of us."
"Just tell us what to do, and we're ready, willing, and able. We're going to survive this thing," the woman replies.
Heads nod around the room, even Blondie's. D-Day looks over the crowd of 20 people. The president's speech seems to have galvanized them, and at least for the moment, they have forgotten about the murdered woman who lies wrapped in a blanket just outside the common room. As he gets ready to lay out his plan, he doesn't notice that Melissa, the biggest complainer of the lot, has slipped away from the group and disappeared. "All right, folks," he says. "Here's the deal. This building has a bank of solar panels on the roof and a UPS set up to run the critical things like the power locks in the event of a power outage."
"What is a UPS?"
a woman asks with her hand raised. UPS, uninterruptible power supply. It's a bank of batteries that the solar panel keeps charged, but these batteries will not power the whole building once the grid goes down, so we have to conserve energy. Another hand goes up. "Why will the grid go down? Isn't that stuff all automated?" "Not really. Most of our power locally comes from coal-fired plants, which need a lot of human attention, and humans seem to be in short supply now. Even if there are people at the plants, they require fuel, and that means trains and bringing coal and pipelines pushing natural gas. Those supplies will run out pretty quickly without people running them. And even then, if we have fuel, the grids are interconnected, and when plants in other parts of the country go down, it will put an increasing strain on any that are still operational until eventually the grid goes down anyway. The big concern here is when the power goes, so does our fresh water supply." "This isn't sounding good for our long-term survival," Blondie says.
"You're sure about all of this? Like, you really know what you're talking about?"
a young man with Coke bottle glasses asks. He reminds D-Day of that episode of The Twilight Zone with Burgess Meredith, where his character loves to read, but after the apocalypse, he breaks his glasses. Poor bastard. "Yeah, I'm sure. Look, we can do a few things to buy ourselves some time. Water is the biggest concern, so we need to fill any container we can with water while we still have pressure in the pipes. That's our top priority." "I can help with that," Blondie says. "You should fill sinks and bathtubs in each apartment you search," Carmen says. "I started doing that last night before all the excitement." "Good idea," D-Day says.
"Can we shower?"
the redhead woman asks. "Yes, you should do that before the power goes out. It could be the last one for a while." Coke Bottles speaks up.
"What else should we do?"
"After water, food is the next important thing. We need to collect the perishable food from all the apartments. Where's Aggie?" D-Day looks around until he spots the real Perlman doppelganger raising her hand. "Aggie can tell you which apartments people have been to already, and you can work your way out from there. Is everyone on board with this?" Heads nod around the room, and people start talking amongst themselves. D-Day interrupts them. "A couple more things, folks, please." They stop talking and turn their attention back to him. "When the power does go out, everyone needs to open refrigerators as seldom as possible. Every time you open one, the food is going to spoil that much faster. Also weapons." He looks at Blondie. "We'll be on the finders keepers policy. I just ask that you talk to me so I can ensure you know how to use them, okay?" Again, they all nod. "Last thing," he continues, and points toward the doorway, toward the dead body that lies just out of sight in the hallway. "We still have a murderer in the building. I don't think anyone is in grave danger, but if you're going anywhere in the building, you need to pair up. Don't go anywhere alone. Everyone on board with that?" They all nod their assent.